Yeah, honestly,
Honestly, we were hanging
yeah,
out in the
good.
back of the classroom,
Yeah, we were the ones doing the spitballs
drawing on the
and
desks,
saying slurs to teachers and
Uh,
and saying we don't give an F, miss.
yeah.
what
I'm
the H is going on
I'm
here?
gonna stick with Diddy for this one.
I'll
Keep
never
it
forget
down.
because
Kind of
Catholic
elite
school is
strat.
fucked. Catholic school is fucked up. They gave me detention for not having enough money to cover my book.
What?
Yeah, because remember those like old like you have a textbook and then ooh look at this guy.
A little walrus.
Tusk. You have
I kind of like
those
that
Oh,
movie.
there he
though.
with
is.
the covers.
Oh my.
Oh.
Yeah.
This,
So yeah,
these
so I
fish
didn't
are an
have one on
allegory.
my Italian textbook, and then she was like,
Damn.
"Why don't you have one?" I was like, "What?" She was like, "Please don't raise your voice at me." I was like, "What?" And then she's like, "You're getting detention," and I was like, "Okay, fuck you, Miss fucking bitch ass." That's
That
literally her
cannot be
name.
Wow.
That was literally legitimately her name. Actually, I'm not fucking
Wow.
with you. That is actually her name,
Pinky
and I'll
promise?
say it louder, and they'll dox her. She was fucking mean.
Our army of gamers.
Yeah, literally an
Yeah.
army of gamers. Please go to her house and give her lots of detention because she gave me detention for everything.
Give her detention.
Yeah, give her detention
Dude,
if
give
you know what
her-
I mean. Wink, wink.
Give her credit card, some detention,
Yeah.
It is funny that I don't know
What?
how.
Am
I mean,
I'm
hopefully
not-
we're going to build an audience, but this is also one of those things. It's like you can't really get the word out by like showing your parents and have them share it because they're like,
Oh, 'cause you're embarrassed?
What is a video game?"
I'm not doing hot, you guys. Oh, damn it. Yeah, for sure. We just gotta, use that social media.
Yeah,
And,
I'll
be
never
fun.
forget when my mom listened to the first podcast I ever did, which was just about like having sex and doing drugs and terrible thing. I shit you not.
and,
She was
and
just like,
hating your mother.
she literally like stopped and then she like looked at me like well I wasn't there but I remember she like came up and she was like you did all these things. I was like yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
yeah.
realize how explicit Howard Stern was until I listened to your appearance on.
Sabrina, if you're on Howard Stern, I would freak out. Not because I like
that'd
the
be
guy,
cool.
but that'd be interesting.
I'd be Beetlejuice's girlfriend.
I'm gonna die, I know it. Okay, oh, yep.
Well, you got 2 hearts left.
I got 1 heart.
Oh no!
Get
Oh,
him!
no.
Get him!
Oh no! I knew
It's
it.
down to the one. No!
I think this boss is hard. And that says, think of me what you will, but I
Yeah.
think he's kind of tough.
Oh, you
He's
have
fast.
you have greater challenges ahead, Hercules.
Is this the
No, I
Dark
know,
Souls of platformers?
Oh good.
I don't remember too many. Oh, there's an owl boss, and that's
That owl
all
was
I remember.
impossible. It took me
I
6
think
months.
you know what,
that owl.
Cranky might actually be better at this because all these other guys kind of like float a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that is good for platforming, but it's tough when a guy is charging at you on his big slippery belly.
Wonder what the texture is of touching a walrus.
Probably the same as like a stingray or something.
Oh yeah, I've touched a fucking stingray.
I don't know. Have you ever been to like an aquarium?
Excuse me, we live in New York City. We don't have those here.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, our
Are there not aquariums
no, there is. There's
in New
one.
York?
No,
There's
there's
one.
yeah,
I was like-
but
I
it's
was gonna
way
say-
out in Coney Island, so it's not like.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
I mean, technically accessible because it's public transportation, but it's way out there.
Well, I think there's one in the Central Park Zoo, like a little mini one,
There is, yeah,
gonna
but
say,
it's
there's
not the
gotta be.
same.
or the Bronx Zoo. The Bronx
There's,
Zoo.
yeah, there's not like a big monster that kills you and eats you in the Central Park Zoo, like there is in the Coney Island Aquarium.
Yeah, I've never
Alright.
actually ever stepped foot in.
Cut
Coney
that out.
Island.
Cut that out.
Get that out of here.
I don't want that incriminating anybody.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, no. Walrus is. Yeah, walrus is like top 10 animal I would love to domesticate. I've thought about this
I thought you were
question.
gonna say
like,
something
quite a
else
lot.
for a sec.
Domesticated to my wife.
That fish escaped my my power move, my banana slammer.
Whoa.
How is that possible?
How is that possible?
It's because the developers for this game were...
I keep missing. He's a big fat-ass walrus. I can't hit him. His power level, it's out of control.
I can't believe he's only using 2% of his power.
It's like Shaggy.
Yeah. Right, I'm sorry, Rob, this is very, you can cut this out, I'm sorry, but Robbie, remember when, like, people literally was all like, guys, Shaggy should be a meme, like, literally, of this year. Like, this year, she was just like, this screenshot alone could start memes, and I'm like, well, where have you been for the past, like,
Yes.
oh my god, that was funny, okay, yeah.
This guy
What?
is crazy. That's my commentary.
That's the commentary. This guy, you know what?
I think we're in the second wave, though.
What do
He
you
just
say?
rolls with the punches like a champ.
See, is there like a rule of threes? Like,
Yeah,
for
there
boss
is.
fight? Okay.
Nintendo typically
You've been doing it for more than 3, though. That's the thing.
There are like 3 phases, but I think each one you have to get like 3 hits on them.
Interesting.
So the boss fights are actually kind of long in this game.
Yeah. It's kind of like Cuphead before Cuphead, I'll just say it. Ooh.
Damn.
Is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze the Cuphead of platformers?
I do think so.
The Cuphead of run-and-gun platformers based on Disney animation?
Yeah. From the 40s. Specifically. Oh my. Can I? Okay.
Up!
I feel like I can't hit him
Get
when he
him!
does that.
Get him!
I'll try it.
Yeah, it's
I knew it. I knew it.
Bruh,
I knew
there's
it.
a fucking invincible. Bruh.
Yep, there we go.
There it is. See, that's
Yeah,
the point.
wow.
It's always when
cost me the
someone's
whole
tired.
thing.
Yeah,
I knew it,
that's-
but I just wanted to try.
It's no wonder that this walrus got such a high position in this organization of evil. Because he's
Oh.
really resilient.
That's
jumped
bullshit.
around
You
the
hit
ground,
him.
yeah.
That's bullshit.
No! Oh,
He's
come on.
broke.
Okay, cool.
This
And
game's
everything's
broken.
juicy. Yay! I was moving my Wii controller. And it wasn't, like, working. Oh well. Yeah, so now I only got 1 punch?
What, bud?
Like, 1 punch! Can I say something that might get everyone to unsubscribe and dislike this video?
Yeah?
I hope that's not the case, but I think it will. I did not watch season 2 of One Punch Man because it's not dubbed, and I don't like subbed.
Wow. I was like, okay, you really got me in the first half there. I was like, yeah, you know what? I haven't seen it either, and that's only because I've read the manga, but you saying those words of dub, disgusting.
Well, especially because One Punch Man's so funny, where I feel like a lot of it relies on actually being able to understand like the delivery.
Yeah,
and
that's
not
what the
being able
anime
to read
does
it.
that I really did not like as much, because they cut a lot of jokes out, and like,
Oh really?
yeah, that's why I was like,
I
I
think it's
love
really
the
funny.
manga. I love the manga. I like reading.
I do too.
Someone said to me there was like manga readers be fucking imagining fight scenes, and I'm like, yeah, yes, you're right.
I like to read, but I don't like to read backwards like a freaking communist. That's just a coin, it's not worth it.
I remember I used to be so
Just
cringy
waste
in
of
middle
time.
school that I would write backwards.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna
Wow.
make like all my sentences were backwards. Like it wasn't like the original Japanese format of like, oh, it's like the sentence itself is fine, but it's just in a different place. But no, the whole fucking thing would be backwards, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? Because I could read my notes backwards because it's like a secret language to me.
That is
Meanwhile,
pretty
I would never look back on my notes ever, so it doesn't make any sense. I just did it because I was bored.
badass.
Speaking
So I was crying
about-
out for attention after my parents' divorce.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking about people perverting the beautiful Japanese language, you know what the most horrible thing I've ever seen in real life was? I think I've told Sabrina this, but I don't think I told this to Eric. But when I was going to my local Smash tournament, I walk in and I hear like Japanese like being spoken. I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. I haven't seen anybody, like I haven't met anybody who's Japanese here yet, so that's kind of interesting. Like, be glad to meet somebody new. And then it gets like louder, and then I realize like, oh, it's two people like speaking in fluent Japanese together with each other. So I was like, oh, that's kind of weird.
That's beautiful.
And then I turned the corner to the setup, and it's just two white guys speaking fluent fucking Japanese to each other, like, flawlessly.
Oh, no.
And I was like, I need to leave. I almost had a panic attack, and I ran out of there.
Well, I kind of have a similar story. Not so much the panic attack aspect, but definitely like the hating of it. I told you, Robbie, before when we were waiting for Sabrina, because, you know, she was late to her own little recording that we agreed upon. But anyway, when early on, freshman year of high school, college, I mean, these guys who, you know, clearly liked. How do I get down there? Clearly liked all that stuff.
Oh, there it is.
Who were big weebs, basically.
Yeah, big old weebos.
We're talking to Asian students, and they were giggling like schoolgirls, and they were like, "How do you say ass in, you know, Japanese?" And they're like, blah blah blah, you know, whatever. And they're like, "Oh, no way, no way."
Oh,
and I was like,
God.
"Oh no!" I was like, I made a horrible mistake in school, in picking schools.
Yeah.
Oh my
I was
god.
like, only to learn that was only the tip of the SVA iceberg.
Oh, yeah. Well,
And I was like, oh boy.
Sabrina, I said this to Eric. My first interaction with my freshman year roommate was there were a bunch of us like all getting together and talking, like breaking the ice, and I was like cracking jokes, and he just like stopped me and he was like, "You remind me of Jerry Seinfeld." And they like paused for a second and said, "I hate Jerry Seinfeld." I was like, "Oh boy."
Anyway.
I was like, "This is gonna be."
Yikes.
I love sleeping in the same room with this person.
Oh man, I remember your first roommate. That was fucking fun.
Oh, boy.
My girlfriend thinks I hate Jerry Seinfeld because a long time ago I made a few videos, maybe implying that Jerry Seinfeld is like a demonic spirit, and I was like, no, I love Seinfeld. I just don't like Jerry Seinfeld, like as a person, but I love Seinfeld.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the common like sentiment about Jerry Seinfeld.
All of the interviews I've seen him in, it's like he's such a jerk.
Yeah, he's though actually,
And I don't think he means to be, but he just
just
what-
is.
you know,
Yeah.
They were. I forget who it was. Charlie Rose or someone was like, "Were you canceled?" And he was like, "What?" And he was like, offended.
Yeah!
He was like,
No,
he
it
was
was
like, "We were
Larry
number
King."
one." Oh yeah, that was my next guess. It was either Charlie Rose or Larry King. But he was like, "We were number one."
They didn't cancel you. You canceled them.
You're not aware of this?
No, I'm asking you.
You think I got canceled? Are you under the impression that I got canceled?
Have I hurt you, Jerry?
I thought that was pretty well documented.
Don't-
And like, I get being proud of that, being like, no, like we just wanted to end it, and you know, but we weren't canceled. But he was just like berating this poor old man.
Yeah, exactly.
Aw.
Well, Larry King is famous for having like really. I love Larry King, but he's famous for having like really awkward interviews. Like apparently
Yeah.
there was one with Paul Newman, and no.
Ah,
Oh, good lord! It was
Take a drink every time I die, guys. It was
Robbie
really
has a
weird.
Larry King story every time Eric dies. Very long, boring. But anyway, Larry King was interviewing this guy whose like son had died, and
Okay.
Larry King was just like, you know, I was talking to Paul Newman about this. He says you never get over it. And it's like what? Having like
Oh my
absolutely
god.
no sympathy or like no understanding of like what it means, just like relating it to like a celebrity story.
Oh my fucking god.
Name drop.
Yes.
I saw
Exactly.
the last Larry King interview I saw was the one that he did with Markiplier, which was.
He did one.
Wait, he did an interview with Markiplier?
Yeah, you didn't see that? And it's like,
No.
he's all like, so tell us how you stream, like what is streaming? He's like, what is Twitch? And then like Markiplier, being like a fucking the god of all men, literally just says peacefully, well, I go on, you know, I play video games on a platform, and there's all like these games that you play, like people watch
These
them.
games.
And it's like, yeah, something like that. It's like one of the most ridiculous like interviews of like, look at this, like you gotta see a generational gap, like that is
Yeah.
like that is one. But
You
then
know,
like
I love the
Markiplier,
Jimmy Fallon ones where he interviews YouTubers and he's like, now people watch you like, oh, that must be the best job
Oh
ever. And
my
they're like,
god!
and
that
like they
God.
just don't
one-
get it.
That cringy one where he's with the girl and then he's like, "Oh, let's all have a hug at the same time."
No.
Ew.
Oh god! Jimmy
I
Fallon,
wanna get that one.
any Jimmy,
I hate Jimmy. I hate all of
any
those
Jimmy
late night guys,
on
though.
air is just ridiculous.
Yes, I agree.
The only Jimmy in my book is Jimmy Stewart, and you can put that on the front page of the New York Times.
The only Jimmy in my book is Jimmy Carter.
All right, before you do, everybody, top 3 Jimmies: Jimmy Carter, Jimmy Stewart, Jimmy Hoffa, Sabrina.
Jimmy.
All right, cut her mic. This is the end of this episode.
Jimmy Carter, Jimmy Stewart, Jimmy Neutron.
I was gonna say Jimmy Neutron. Fuck. Fuck me. I don't know any Jimmy. Jimmy Jams.
I don't know any Jimmies.
It really rustles my jimmies.